4. Tutorial.
You rise from behind the carved stone pillar slowly, your legs stiff from crouching too long in the shadows. The obsidian floor is cold against your bare feet as you edge toward the open center of the chamber. Sadali hasn't moved. He's still kneeling before the empty crystal pillar, his shoulders shaking with silent, broken sobs. What am I doing? The thought grips you like a hand on your shoulder. You're walking toward one of the most powerful mages in this world. A man who just had his soul dismantled by the woman he spent centuries trying to save. A man who, in the game's later chapters, becomes something dangerous. Something that hurts people because he's forgotten how to do anything else. And you're walking toward him, in peasant clothes, with no shoes, with no plan. Your foot freezes mid-step. And then something else grips you too. Not a cutscene this time. You'd recognize that narrative straitjacket. This is different. A shimmer at the edges of your vision, like heat haze over summer asphalt. Then a frame snaps into place. Translucent blue, clean lines, the unmistakable aesthetic of a mobile game UI. 3 words appear in the lower right corner, pulsing gently.
Tutorial in progress.
The world stops. Not fades. Not pauses dramatically. Just stops. Sadali's trembling freezes mid-shudder. The crystal's pulse halts between heartbeats. A single tear on his cheek catches the light and stays there, suspended. A tiny prism of grief that will never fall unless you let this moment end. A menu frames your vision. Over 20 distinct buttons arranged in the familiar grid you navigated thousands of times on your phone screen. Most are grayed out, their labels dim and unresponsive. Some pulse with faint invitation, their borders shimmering in that particular way that always meant new content available. All of them are labeled in that particular font, the one you'd recognize anywhere. "Welcome to Ardra," says a cheery voice. It's bright, genderless, the kind of chipper you associate with corporate training videos and automated customer service. It comes from everywhere and nowhere, bypassing your ears entirely and resonating directly in your thoughts. I've brought you here for a very significant quest, helping this world defeat the realm scourge before time runs out. You gasp. Brought you here. Not, you've arrived. Not welcome, traveler. Brought. Someone, something, chose this. And this menu. You gesture at the array of buttons, then feel foolish. The gesture is purely habitual. The system probably doesn't care about your hands. Is it functional, or am I looking at a dead UI? You reach out and tap a button labeled Units. Your finger passes through empty air, but the button registers the intent, flashing once before a window pops up. No server access. You try formations. Same error. Guild. Same. Friends. Same. Each tap is a small confirmation of what you already suspected. You're playing offline. The game's social features, its multiplayer backbone, its entire connection to anything outside this moment. Gone. This menu will potentially unlock over time, the voice says, still cheery, as if server errors are a minor inconvenience. Most features are online only, but you can check your inventory and notifications here. Those are locally cached.
A pause, almost hopeful.
There's also a gacha system. I'm not here to play gacha. The words come out flatter than you intended, but they're true. You spent years playing gacha. You spent money you didn't have, time you should have spent sleeping, emotional energy you should have invested in real relationships. You're not doing it again. Not here. Not for a system that can't even connect to its own servers. That's a shame. The voice somehow sounds genuinely disappointed. I designed a mystery gacha system just for you. You glance at Sadali's frozen form, the tear, the half-formed sob. He's not going anywhere. Neither are you, apparently, until this tutorial finishes. Might as well listen. How about notifications? A small red badge appears over the mailbox icon. 2. You've got mail. The absurdity of it. Checking notifications in a frozen cathedral while a legendary mage weeps 3 feet away almost makes you laugh. You tap the mailbox. 2 messages appear in a list. Welcome to Ardra. Probably the standard new player greeting. You'll read it later. Maybe.
Daily login rewards. Day 1.
This one has a paperclip icon, an attachment. Daily login rewards. Of course. Even at the end of the world, even with the servers offline, even trapped in a story that was never finished, the daily login bonus persists. Some systems are too fundamental to fail. You press Claim All. A small chime sounds. Items added to inventory. The red badge disappears. For a moment, you feel a flicker of the old satisfaction, the dopamine hit of a completed task, a cleared notification. Then it fades, replaced by the cold reality of where you are and what you're doing. You navigate to the inventory tab. The interface is clean, familiar. A grid of empty slots with 2 occupied spaces. The small crystal from the meditation hall sits in the first slot. Still glowing faintly, its pale blue light steady and patient. In the second slot, a golden ticket, its border shimmering with the particular animation reserved for premium currency items.
Currency display at the top. 10,000 gil. 10 Visiore.
Basically nothing. 10,000 gil might buy you a potion or 2. 10 Visiore won't even buy a single pull on the cheapest banner. You're broke. Okay, you say to the voice you now assume is some kind of tutorial AI. Can I do anything with this stuff?
The crystal. Yes. The voice sounds pleased to be asked. Though it won't be useful until you unlock your Trust Mastery slot.
The frozen world is stopped. But something inside you lurches. It's a TMR? Your voice echoes in the silent chamber. Too loud. Too raw. TMR. Trust Mastery reward. The rarest item class in the game. The kind of equipment you'd grind for months to earn, maxing out a character's limit breaks, building their trust through hundreds of battles. The kind of item that could define a unit's entire build. The kind of power that separated whales from free to play. And this one is just sitting in your inventory. No grind, no trust built, no relationship with whatever character it belonged to. How do I unlock that? You're already calculating. If you can equip a TMR this early, do quests, level up, unlock more of the menu. The voice recites it like a script, which you realize it probably is. The ticket is more immediately useful. It's for my mystery gacha.
A little reluctantly, you navigate to the Gacha menu. The familiar interface appears. A single banner, its art subdued compared to the flashy limited-time events you remember. Text at the bottom reads, Mystery Gacha, Ticket Only. And below that, in smaller font, certain visual elements omitted due to copyright considerations. You almost laugh. Even here, even in the actual world of the game, the lawyers have left their mark.
The ticket is good for a free 10 pull, the voice explains, its cheerfulness undimmed. Sadly, this banner does not contain character units, items and materials only. A junk banner, of course. Your first pull in another world, and it's the equivalent of the friend point gacha, the one players ignore unless they need upgrade materials.
Still, it's a free pull, and you're curious.
You press summon.
The screen flashes. A crystal appears, not the elaborate summoning animation from the game, but a simpler version, almost placeholder. 10 motes of light spiral inward and shatter into items. You tap to skip, muscle memory overriding any desire for ceremony. The results appear in a list. Gil times 5,000. Gil times 5,000.
Gil times 5,000.
Gil times 5,000. Gil times 5,000.
Gil times 2,000. Trust rune, small times 2. Trust rune, small times 2.
Trust rune, medium, times 2.
Armor, rare.
The last item pulses with a soft gold border. You tap it.
The image that appears is not what you expected. A simple white garment, long-sleeved, soft-looking. It resembles nothing so much as a set of thermal underwear. Or
Pajamas.
you stare at the screen. You just pulled pajamas from the mystery gacha. In the frozen depths of the crystal sanctum, while one of the most powerful mages in the world weeps 3 feet away, you are looking at a pair of magical long johns.
It's the Aegis underlayer system, the voice says, as if that clarifies everything. It provides auto-regen and auto-shell while equipped. The regeneration effect is modest, but continuous. The shell effect reduces magical damage by approximately 15%. You blink. Auto-regen, auto-shell. Those are significant buffs. The kind that require dedicated support units to maintain in battle. And this thing just provides them, passively.
It's an ancient relic? Your voice comes out sharper than you intended. Like the accursed armor? Like the Veritas equipment? What's the cost? You remember the Veritas of the waters, Foca, the cruel mask she built, layer by agonizing layer, until her true self was buried so deep she could barely remember kindness. You remember reading her character story, the horror of someone hollowing themselves out for power. Is this thing going to play with my emotions, consume my soul, make me hurt people? You've learned to read the voice's silences already. This one feels almost thoughtful.
I appreciate the curiosity, it says finally. The Aegis system was designed as protective equipment, not as a control mechanism. Its primary drawback is that the fabric is very fragile. Sustained damage will degrade its effects. Complete destruction is possible. You wait. That can't be all. There may be other considerations, the voice adds, quieter now. But they are not documented in my tutorial script. I recommend caution.
A crack in the cheerfulness. The first sign that the voice might be more than a pre-recorded help system.
Would you like to equip it?
The suggestion makes you uneasy. Equipping means accepting. It means committing to this world's systems, playing by its rules. It means admitting you might need protection, that this is real enough to hurt you.
Not right now, you say. I don't want to break it before I understand what it actually does.
You can find it in your inventory when you change your mind. Anything else?
Not for now, the voice says, its cheer returning like a mask sliding back into place. Would you like to resume your quest? You look at Sadali, frozen mid-sob, the tear still suspended on his cheek. The empty crystal pillar behind him, its light dimmed now that Exia has gone. This is what you're returning to. A grieving archmage who just had his entire existence invalidated by the woman he loved.
Yeah, you say, and your voice is steadier than your nerves. Let's get back to it. The overlay menu fades, not instantly. It dissolves, the translucent blue bleeding out of your vision like watercolor washing away. The buttons disappear. The inventory grid vanishes. Time resumes. Sadali's sob completes itself, a ragged, broken sound that echoes in the crystal chamber. His shoulders shake. Then, slowly, like a man moving underwater, he rises to his feet. His robes are dust-stained. His face is a ruin. But his eyes, when they lift, are not empty.
They're burning.
With what? You can't tell. Grief. Rage. Something worse. A new frame appears around your vision, different from the menu. This one is gold, ornate. The quest interface you remember from 1,000 play sessions. Soft background music swells in your ears. A tense, urgent track you recognize from boss encounters. Text appears, each word etching itself into your sight.
Survive Sadali's anguish. And then, larger, in that particular font reserved for important moments.
Quest start.
The music shifts. The gold frame pulses once. Sadali squints against the light, face raw and wet, lids swollen from weeping or sleeplessness or both.
You're not behind the pillar anymore. You're in the open, and he's looking right at you. His hand rises, fingers curl. The air around him begins to shimmer with gathering magical pressure, the unmistakable precursor to a spell. Pause.
The word tears out of you, raw and desperate. And the world, obedient, this time, stops.
Sadali freezes mid-step. His burning eyes are fixed on the space where you're standing. His raised hand is already glowing faintly, the first threads of a casting weave visible in the air around his fingers. You were maybe half a second from eating whatever spell a grief-maddened archmage throws at intruders. The menu springs back into your vision. No cheerful voice this time, just the interface. Waiting. Inventory. Aegis underlayer system. Equip. You tap the button with more force than necessary. Warmth spreads across your skin. Not unpleasant, but startling. It's like slipping into a heated blanket, if that blanket were also weaving itself into your flesh. The fabric is thin, almost weightless, but you can feel it settle against you. A second skin beneath your peasant linens. A faint shimmer passes over your body, visible only at the edges of your vision, the shell effect activating. Your heartbeat steadies. The cold of the obsidian floor seems less biting. You feel alive. Not just protected, but vital, like your body is humming at a frequency it couldn't reach before.
Which is good, because when you unpause, a legendary mage is going to try to kill you.
You take a breath. You can do this. You've beaten Sadali in arena matches before. You know his patterns, his spell rotations, the timing of his big attacks. You know that his AI prioritizes targets based on threat level, and right now you're a peasant with no weapons and no visible magic. You're not a threat, you're a witness.
You reach for the pause, ready to release it, and then stop. One more thing.
Your eyes drift to the obsidian floor near where Sadali was kneeling. The dagger. Still there. Forgotten.
The blade that can sever a soul from its body. The Chekhov's gun that was never fired a second time in the original story. The tools Sadali used to bring Exia back and then discarded like it meant nothing. You have an inventory system. You have a frozen moment. You have a choice. Do you take it? Your hand hovers over the mental button that will end the pause. Through the frozen air, you can see every detail of the dagger. The overly ornate hilt. The faint residual glow along the blade's edge. The way it lies on the obsidian like it's waiting for someone to remember it exists.
If you take it, no one will ever know. Sadali doesn't care about it anymore. The game's script forgot it existed. It will sit in your inventory, a tool of last resort, a weapon that does something nothing else in this world can do. If you leave it, you're choosing to face whatever comes next with only your knowledge and a pair of magical pajamas. No backup. No hidden ace.
The pause waits. Sadali's frozen spell waits. The dagger waits. And you have to decide. Slowly, deliberately, you lower your hand. Not to the pause button, but toward the dagger on the floor. Or you don't.
The choice is yours.